Well, there's something very reassuring and stable about the patrician splendour of a fine old chassis-built Rolls-Royce motor car. And what could be nicer on a beautiful spring afternoon to have the sunroof open, to breathe the fresh air and be wafted along in something as gorgeous as this. Now, these cars were never built for the comfort of the driver. Owner-driver cars were provided by Rolls-Royce, but a car like this, an SCT 100, was really built for the comfort of its passengers in the rear. The chauffeur's quarters were slightly more cramped. The passengers in the rear had acres of legroom. This car was originally built for a London-based bank, actually in Berkeley Square, the same area where the Rolls-Royce dealer Jack Barclay was located, and they provided this car when new. So it's a very special machine, and it's a machine I've really become very fond of. I had the fantastic opportunity to drive it to Scotland, to Glenap Castle, where I also work part-time, and the drive of 600 miles was absolutely fantastic. So one of the benefits of that is that, having done such a long run in the car and got to know it really, really well, when I returned, I gave our service manager a snagging list of everything that it might need to make it, in my view, perfect. So I was able to drive this car up to Scotland, going 70 miles an hour on the M6, keeping up with everybody else, and in fact we got stuck in quite a long traffic jam on the return journey, and I was probably sitting in traffic for maybe 45 minutes. The car never overheated. We're told it's a genuine 58,000 miles from new, and I believe it. I've driven it a lot, and the sorts of things that I had done when I returned from the trip were, for example, new rear springs, which had settled after all of those years, a proper set of quality Avon tyres to replace the more modern radial tyres that it had fitted. Lots of detail work, but that's all a great benefit to the new owner because all of the hard work has been done. So I really like this second series of Silver Clouds that retained the single headlamp design of the Cloud 1, but had this magnificent 6,230cc V8 unit, and that engine gave the car the speed and the capability that really the design was crying out for. And in fact, that engine went into the Silver Shadow and later increased in capacity to 6,750cc. It remained with Rolls-Royce and Bentley products right through the 70s, 80s, and from memory right into the early 90s. So a very refined and very long-lasting engine. Now, the next thing that I want to do is to give you a quick tour around the car so that you can see some of the distinguishing features of the SCT 100, and also to give you an impression of the interior, which is very fine indeed. James Young had very distinctive door handles with the Yale locks built into this square button, and this boot design with the double-handed boot handle is another distinguishing feature of this model. And you can see the beautiful quality of this woodwork with picnic tables and mirrors, the lovely handles, and of course the glass division which kept the privacy of the passengers. Now, of course, I got to see this car before the upholstery was redone. The interior was starting to get a bit dry, and definitely this investment in the new leather interior is very worthwhile. And now with the sunroof closed, you should be able to see the quality of the woodwork and the leather a little bit better. And that view along the bonnet there towards the Spirit of Ecstasy has to be one of the most impressive views from the driver's seat of any car ever made. And there you have it, a very fine example of a proper gentleman's touring limousine from the early 1960s.